Good evening, everyone. I am Ayan Gulles, the last reporter of this group. The topic I'm going to discuss is all about the value analysis framework, value analysis step, and store management. So first, let's discuss the value analysis framework. To enhance the value of the project, it should needed to identify the improvement opportunities, develop alternative proposals, and preserve the functions of the project. The project may be in a product, process, system, service, or facility. Value analysis is one of the powerful tools for companies to reduce production costs, increase profits, improve performance, and simplify design while enhancing the value of a project. Since different customers will interpret the value of the production in different ways, the value study team and multifunction team experts from different departments of the organization should help together to implement a value analysis framework to analyze the project in terms of its function, description, process, purpose, needs, cost drivers, and drop alternative solutions and consequences of the task in a logical order and produce a most unique feature of function and competitive project. So the basic framework of the value analysis approach is formed by the questions as given by Lawrence D. Miles. So these are the following sample questions. What is the item? What does it do? What does it cost? What else would do the job? What would the alternative cost be? So this value analysis framework is a form of a question where it answers the overall details, functions, characteristics, and costs of the studied item or product. It is an information phase where it defines or identifies the main and secondary functions of an item or product studied. So these should be applied to challenge traditional assumptions. The actual exploration in cost reduction are based the familiar method of questioning. So value analysis evaluates the materials by seeking answers to the following questions. So for example, what is the item? So this question should be answerable to what specific item or product you are introducing. So example for our products is pencil. What does it cost? It should be answered in an estimated cost for each function. So what is the method, material, or procedure that was used to realize the main function? It defines what method, material, or procedure was used to function the product. So our product pencils, material or procedure used is a graphite stick and wood. So next is what does it do? It analyzes the primary function of the product or what is the product used for. So our product pencil is used, primary function is used for writing and making marks. Next is, what is the corresponding secondary function? So this question defines a scale in a different key than the main key, which means a supplementary or additional specific function of the product. So our product pencil is transfer graphite to paper and facilitate holding the graphite. Did you get the primary function and secondary function? So let's give you another example. So another item or product is coat. So the primary function of a coat is making you warm. So the second function of the coat is to make you look smart, cool, attractive, and charming. So focus of your value analysis on the main function because during the analysis, the secondary functions may be changed. The group, committee, team may choose different secondary functions to realize the main function. That is why value analysis requires to come up or ask of these questions to answer for the successful implementation of the technique. And this technique simplifies various processes where it should be specific, use creativity, and obtain data from authentic resources. Once the team gathers all ideas, the evaluation phase begins where the ideas are put into specific forms. So there are steps in value analysis. In order to answer the sample questions, just like in our example earlier, so there are basic steps necessary to follow. So these are the steps in value analysis. The steps are define the function, evaluation of the function by comparison, develop alternatives, and brainstorming sessions. So first, let's discuss the identifying the functions. So your team should be able to identify the primary and secondary functions of the project. So primary function is any useful product that must be identified, and those are presents the reason for the project's existence. For instance, a bulb to give light, a refrigerator to preserve food, or etc. Just like my example earlier, that the coat about the coat, the primary function there is to keep you warm. So now let's proceed to secondary functions. These are the project serves without being core to the project. So for instance, withstanding shock and etc. Again, like my example earlier, the code, which is the secondary function there, is to make you look smart, cool, attractive, and charming. So after defining those two functions, the team should also identify value mismatch functions to focus the improvements on. So next, let's proceed to evaluation of the function. At this stage, priority is given to each project improvement idea. So the ideas are discussed and potential costs are determined. Once the risk-reward profile of each idea is itemized, the team has determined which ideas are worth implementing into the project or feature. So value being a relative term, the comparison approach must be used to evaluate functions. So the basic question is, does the function accomplish reliability at the best cost? And that can be answered only by comparison. So next is develop alternatives. So this step is for team members to create and develop improvement ideas. They should find alternatives so that the project could perform the same functions. Realistic situation must be faced, objections should overcome, and effective engineering, manufacturing, and other alternatives must be developed. So they must be clearly written and explained so that the project owner and stakeholders can understand how it benefits the project and act on it. Any potential negative factors are identified. Potential costs and cost savings are itemized. So in order to develop effective alternatives and identify unnecessary costs, the following value analysis principle must be used. This: avoid generalization, get all valuable cost, use information only from the best source, identify and overcome roadblocks, use industry specialists to extend specialized knowledge, key tolerance, not to be too light, utilize the pay for vendor skills techniques, utilize vendors available functional products, utilize specialty process, utilize applicable standards, and use the criterion, why would I spend my money this way? The last step is the brainstorming session. So team members discuss each idea in detail and identify the cost. They review all the possible risks and choose the most relevant and suitable ideas. So once ideas that make sense are identified, it's time to work with them. Your value engineering team develops the options and passes them back to the project team. So these ideas should be thoroughly explained so that project owners and stakeholders can understand them. So in this brainstorming session, we should apply the three stages: the blast, create, and refine. In the blast stage, alternative products, materials, processes, or ideas are generated. In the create stage, the ideas generated in the blast stage are used to generate alternatives which accomplish the function almost totally. In the refining stage, the alternative generated are sifted and refined so as to arrive at the final alternative to be implemented. Now, for our last topic is the store management. So, materials management is only possible if proper records of the stores are maintained. So, stores are very important in carrying out day-to-day operations. The objective behind stores is the continuous supply and production of goods and services. Managing the stores ensures that every project, no matter how large or small, is properly managed. So store management basic function is to receive the materials, recognize, place the same, and issue the raw materials under requisition made by the respective department. So the term store management refers to the efficient management of materials. So it ensures that all the various activities involved during the process of store management or storekeeping are carried out economically and efficiently. So according to Alfred and Betty, store management is that aspect of material control concerned with the physical storage of goods. So in other words, store management, preserving raw materials, work in process, and finished goods in the stores. Well, according to Maynard, store management is to receive materials, to protect them while in storage from damage and unauthorized removal, to issue the materials in the right quantities at the right time to the right place, and provide these services promptly and at a minimum cost. The store's function is important for many organizations and industrial concerns. That is why I will be discussing its functions. The functions are divided into primary and secondary functions of the store management. So let's discuss first the primary functions. So the main objective of the store in primary function is to provide necessary inputs to the production, operations department at a minimum cost. So to ensure this, the following activities are to be performed. First is to make available a balanced flow of materials, components, tools, equipment, and other stores required for operation. So the first objective is to ensure an interrupted supply of stock. In short, establish a supply chain that is both secure and delivers stock on time, every time. That should be that if you don't have a stock to sell, everything else falls apart. So one of the best action to take to ensure your store has a proper control of its stock would be to implement a robust ordering system which allows you to monitor your inventory whenever you want, be that daily, weekly, or monthly. Next, number 2 is to provide maintenance materials, spare parts, and general stores as required. So which means provide adequate and proper storage and preservation to the various items. So number 3 is to receive and issue material after physical inspection of proper identification. So to receive raw materials, components, tools, equipment, and other items and account for the inventories that are received, to avoid loss of stock, physical verification should be timely conducted. Number 4, to store and preserve materials. 5, to ensure safety and security of materials. So this means that to ensure the safe handling of stock to prevent damages, once you have stock coming into your store, it's crucial that you put process in a place to ensure it's safe handling of it. So to really ensure safety, the store should install a security system, which should include either a guard, cameras, and sensors, or both for that. Number 6 is to arrange for collection and acceptance of scrap and other discarded materials for disposal. Next, let's proceed to our secondary function. So in our secondary function, activities related to the store's function are first, collection, inspection, and acceptance. So this means to ensure good housekeeping so that material handling, preserving, stocking, receipt, and issue can be done adequately. Next is store accounting. So keep a systematic record for stock that arrives and leaves your store. Next is stock control. To reduce losses due to accumulation inventories, discrepancies, and abnormal consumption, and effective control measures. Number 3 is feedback information to the material control section. Follow up with purchase, so it helps to avoid stockouts and the production losses. Number 5, help in standardization and variety reduction. 6, service information such as demand for material and parts, giving specification, quantities and deliveries required. Number B, notification when stocks are running low. C, details of deliveries of projected one. D, certification invoices for quantity and quality. E, particulars of anticipated changes in consumption. F, procurement of item urgently required in case of breakdowns. G, listing of obsolete, surplus, and scrap materials for disposal. So this means to minimize obsolete, surplus, and scrap through proper quantification, preservation, and handling. So that's all for our report. Thank you and God bless. Hope you learned something.